What's going on, boxing fans of the channel? How's everybody doing? If y'all wondering who I got on my screen, I got Jose Luis Castillo and I got Diego Corrales. This is one of my favorite fights. This is one of the best fights I ever seen in my life. If you ever want to get into boxing, if you ever want to see one of the most exciting fights ever, go watch this fight, part one, the first fight. This is one of the greatest fights ever in boxing. But that's neither here or there. I want to talk about the greatest sport in the world, which is boxing, the sport that I love. And I want to talk about the 10 fights that I feel that could make 2025 the best for boxing. If at least 5 of these fights happen in 2025, it could be the best thing to happen for boxing. So let me start off with the first fight that I feel for 2025 that'll be an amazing fight for boxing. Zhilei Zhang versus Martin Bakole. They're both coming off exciting knockouts. I think these two in the ring, it would be fireworks. In my opinion, who I feel that will win that fight, I think Zhilei Zhang. I think he has more tools in his bag. But nonetheless, anything can happen. Both of them are knockout artists. That fight happens in 2025. That'll be a great 2025. The next fight, number 2 on my list, that'll be an amazing fight for boxing. Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Junto Nakatani. I know a lot of people want to see Junto Nakatani versus Naoya, the Monster Inoue. I think that'd be a great fight. But if these two guys could fight, Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez versus Junto Nakatani, I think that'd be an amazing fight for the 118-pound fighters. That'd be, to me, a pay-per-view worthy fight. I think it'll bring a lot of attraction to the lower weight class. That's an amazing fight. That's a fight that I would like to see in 2025. At number 3 on my list, I have Gervonta Tank Davis versus Teofimo Lopez. This fight, I feel, has always been a big money fight since the beginning. I know everybody wants to see the Shakur versus Tank. They want to see Devin Haney versus Tank. I think this fight has more action. It puts more people in the seats. It'll have more people on the edge of their seats because I don't feel neither one is going to want to back down from the other one. And I think the fight will end in a knockout. I favor Tank in this fight. I think Tank has a little more tools in his bag. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but Tank has more tools in his bag. He's undefeated, hasn't taken that much damage in fights. I think that'll be an amazing fight for 2025. Okay, number 4 on my list. This right here, this is one of the biggest fights. The fans been craving for this. The fans been wanting this fight. None other than Terrence Bud Crawford versus Jaron Boots Ennis. If that fight gets made in 2025, that's going to be one of the biggest, best fights. If they fight at 147 or if they fight at 154. I feel Terrence Bud Crawford, I give him the edge in that fight. More experience. He's been in there with tougher competition. But nonetheless, Jaron Boots Ennis, he's been calling out Terrence Bud Crawford for a while now. And I would like to see him prove himself. This is boxing. Anything can happen. But again, if that fight gets made in 2025, that's going to be a wonderful year for boxing in 2025. Okay, number 5. Number 5 fight on my list is Alicia the Bomb Baumgartner versus Clarissa T-Rex Shields the GOAT. If they can agree on a weight, I think that'd be an amazing fight for women's boxing. It'll put so much eyes on women's boxing. They both don't like each other. They were friends at one point. Now they can't stand each other. They always take shots at each other. I'm always in tune when they're going at each other. I like the entertainment, but nonetheless, as a boxing fan, I would want to see them in the ring against each other. That right there, if they can agree on the weight, I think that right there would be an amazing for women's boxing. Not only women's boxing, for women's sports. And I love to see that fight if they can agree on the weight. Okay, number 6. Number 6, This is a fight that everybody's been wanting. This is the mega fight. This is for the whole shebang. This is for the bag. This is the fight that legends are made of. And that's Saul Canelo Alvarez versus David, the Mexican monster, Benavidez. I shouldn't even have to say no much more about that fight. That's the fight that everybody wants. That's the fight that has the big question mark. Can the Mexican monster beat Saul Canelo Alvarez? Or does Canelo Alvarez beat the Mexican monster? Whether it happens at 168 or 175, I think that's the biggest fight for boxing. No other fight touches that fight. Okay, number 7 on my list. Number 7 on my list is Naoya, the monster Inoue versus Brandon Figueroa. I would love to see that fight. Naoya, the monster Inoue, I felt has done enough at 122 pounds. He has shown that no one at 122 pounds can compete with him. If he moves up to 126 pounds, I would love to see him in there with Brandon Figueroa. A fight against Brandon Figueroa would be fireworks. Brandon Figueroa has stood the test against everybody. He's taken everybody's greatest punch. And as a boxing fan, I know a lot of people would love to see if Naoya at 126 still carries that knockout power and is able to put away Brandon Figueroa. Because Brandon Figueroa has never been put away. No one's been able to stop him. He's had one fight where he lost against Stephen Fulton, and it was a real close fight. A lot of people felt it could have gone either way. So again, if Naoya, the monster Inoue, goes up 126 pounds and fights Brandon Figueroa and is able to stop Brandon Figueroa, that right there will make a big statement for him at 126 pounds. That's a fight that I would love to see. Okay, at number 8. At number 8, this one again, this is for women's boxing. This is a fight that I would love to see. And it's Amanda, the real deal Serrano versus Michaela Mayer. That's a fight that I feel will bring a lot of attention to women's boxing. They're both really good fighters. They both have amazing skills. They both put on good shows. In that fight, I don't know which way it can go. It can go either way. But I feel that's an amazing fight for 2025. I would love to see that fight get made. At number 9, this one right here. This is for all the people that love that back and forth action. This is a fight that could possibly be like what you see on the screen, Diego Corrales versus Jose Luis Castillo. And that fight is Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Subriel Matias. They're both coming off losses, which were handed to them while they were outboxed. They're both come forward fighters. They both do not quit. They both go for the knockout. This would be one of those fights that could possibly be fight of the year. This fight could either end in a knockout or it can go 12 rounds with both of these guys putting each other through hell, just brutally punishing each other. Sorry if I'm, getting my words tangled up. But this fight would be one of those fights that will get talked about for years to come. I would love to see this fight. Let's make this fight happen in 2025. Okay, and at number 10, this is the fight that I feel there's going to be a high-level chess match. And it's Shakur Stevenson versus Vasyl, the Matrix, Lomachenko. That's the fight that I've been wanting for. That's the fight that is a true test for Shakur Stevenson. That's the fight that is either going to keep Vasyl Lomachenko's name high in the rankings or is going to make Shakur Stevenson that next level star, because a win against Vasyl Lomachenko, it only elevates Shakur Stevenson's career and puts him now up there with a person that's beaten a legend on his record. And if he can beat Vasyl Lomachenko convincingly, that right there just does wonders for him. That's the fight I would love to see. And those are the 10 fights that I would love to see for 2025. Please like, please subscribe, please comment. If there's any fight that you would like to see for 2025, please put it in the comment and we can talk about it. We can argue about it. But please like, please subscribe. Thank you.